Hello and welcome to the program. I am Bukola Koka, and coming up today, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma condemns pipeline explosion in Ohaji, mourns victims of incident. Ebonyi State Government set to revamp basic education, especially the needs of out-of-school children. And Anambra State shines in the ICT sector, wins ICT awards. Thank you for staying tuned. The Ebonyi State Government has promised to reform the basic education sector in the state for better efficiency and effectiveness. This was disclosed in Abakaliki, the state capital, during a roundtable on setting the agenda for reforming basic education in the state, organized by the State Ministry of Education in partnership with non-governmental and civil society organizations. The Comptroller General of the Nigeria Immigration Service in the state leads this team of officials on a courtesy visit to the governor and to intimate him on the activities of the agency in Enugu state. The governor arrives shortly after, and the day's business commences. In her opening remarks, the state NIS boss, Mrs. Angelina Sambu, affirms the agency's commitment to the security and socio-economic well-being of Enugu citizens.
The Enugu State Command of the service will continue to operate within the ambits of its extant laws to check, control, as well as monitor the presence of non-Nigerians and their activities in Enugu State, so as to see that non-Nigerians in our midst are legal resident workers or visitors.
The governor believes that his desire to attract foreign direct investment to the state can be achieved if the agency ensures seamless visa and permit processing for potential investors.
For the foreign direct investment, as you know, would require a lot of services from the immigration. And this is where we see this collaboration working well. So that ours is to shield our prospective investors and ensuring that all the permits and licenses they need to operate lawfully in our state, we procure them.
As the governor concludes with the immigration, the newly deployed Enugu commandant of the NSCDC, Cyprian Otoibi, and his team also arrive on a courtesy call. Mr. Otoibi recounts his strategy, which, according to him, has yielded results in the city since he assumed office.
Deployment of highly trained undercover personnel to all the 16 local governments. Flash points and strategic locations within the state capital for intelligence information gathering to curb increasing spate of kidnapping, which is becoming the order of the day. 247 we patrol within the Enugu metropolis. As a result of this, some very important arrests have been made so far, of which one of them is a serving security officer vandalizing government property at the Enugu SME Center, who was arrested and being handed over to his agency for disciplinary action.
The elated governor wants him to apply same energy in guarding the state facilities against vandals.
We're still having to deal with vandalization and stealing of government assets. I received a call that some people went again and destroyed a valve somewhere around Akwata, and we had water gushing out from there. So even with the locks that we have provided to protect the valves, we are still having to deal with these pockets of criminality. And we're also experiencing the same thing in locations where we have our water stands.
Governor Peter Mba also assures the NSCDC and the NIS of his administration's resolve to procure utility vehicles and other logistics for the agencies, and equally strengthen the collaboration with various security agencies to fight crime and criminality in the state. We apologize for that mix-up in actuality. That was the high point of Governor Mbah's interaction with heads of the NIS and the NSCDC, during which there was a commitment to checking the activities of vandals and renewal of visas and permits for foreign investors in the state so as to speed up investment in the state. Following the discovery of kidnappers' hideout within the forest and the Federal University of Technology in Owerri, Futo, and host communities of Avu, Iagwa, and Obinzi in Owerri West local government area of Imo State, the State Police Commissioner Danjuma Aboki has convened an emergency meeting with the management of Futo and the host communities, including the Yoruba and Fulani communities. Addressing newsmen after both meetings, the Commissioner says the objective is to map out a way to synergize and ensure that the spate of kidnappings and other forms of security challenges in the area is nipped in the bud. We're still in Imo State. The governor, Senator Hope Uzodimma, has condemned a pipeline explosion which occurred in Ohaji area of the state, leading to the loss of 5 persons. He regrets the loss of life and as a result of the incident, saying the frequent pipeline vandalism in the area was a cause of concern to the state government. Suspected vandals vandalized oil pipelines at Obiti Rubber Estate in Ohaji, and in the process of siphoning the product into a waiting truck, an explosion occurred. 5 of the vandals who engaged in the illegal oil bunkering were said to have been burnt beyond recognition. Governor Uzodimma says the state cannot afford to be embroiled in this incessant economic sabotage as a result of the activities of illegal oil bunkerers. He said apart from the attendant loss of life, pipeline vandalism has dealt a serious blow to the economy of the state. While commiserating with the families of those who lost their lives in the unfortunate incident, the governor counseled youths of the area to desist from such nefarious activities. Governor Alex Otti of Abia State has reiterated his administration's commitment to reverse years of decay and deficit in infrastructure as it intensifies construction work on 26 new roads, which are at different stages of completion. Speaking during the 4th edition of a media parley with journalists at the Government House in Umuahia, the state capital, Governor Otti said about 6 new roads have been commissioned, with 4 new road projects in Aba awaiting commissioning. The governor promised to find a permanent solution to the infrastructure problem in the state and come up with a comprehensive plan to combat perennial flooding in Aba, the commercial nerve center.
At the last count, 26 new routes are in different stages of completion. We have commissioned about 6 brand new routes or newly reconstructed routes. Information reaching me that we have another 4 or thereabout completed and ready for submission. Our selection of routes is based on their strategic importance. Very soon, we will also commence our efforts in ridding Aba of flooding, particularly at the area market and all the corridors around there.
Following the full implementation of the zero right-of-way policy and the implementation of an internet exchange point, Anambra State is now recognized as the leading state in ICT infrastructure development. This recognition comes at the 11th session of the National Council on Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy meeting held in Kano, where Anambra State carted away prestigious awards in 4 categories. Receiving the 4 awards, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the State ICT Agency, Mr. Chukwuemeka Agbata, notes that the awards are a testament to Governor Chukwuma Soludo's commitment to excellence in technological advancement, innovation, and progress in the digital realm. Now we return to Ebonyi State now, where government has promised to reform the basic education sector in the state for better efficiency and effectiveness. This was disclosed in Abakaliki, the state capital, during a roundtable on setting the agenda for reforming basic education in the state, organized by the State Ministry of Education in partnership with non-governmental and civil society organizations.
Education is priority for Ebonyi State, as shown in the 2024 budget, where it got the highest allocation. One of the biggest motivations for the Governor Nwifuru administration is getting out-of-school children back to the classrooms after enrollment figures in public primary and secondary schools reduced as a result of lack of teachers, poor remuneration, and poor infrastructure. The state government budget will fund necessary infrastructure, human capital development, and enabling environments for academic activities to thrive. This is in addition to facilitating vocational skills where necessary.
Out-of-school children are quite bigger than the number of ones that are in school in Ebonyi State. And you can see that the governor has actually gone around the cities in Nigeria to tell those people, come back. If you cannot go to school, go and acquire a skill so that you'll be relevant to the society. And that is a very laudable achievement for our people. What we have gathered from this after brainstorming, we are going to articulate those things we have gathered here to His Excellency's table to tell him, our dear governor, this is where we are today. How do we move forward? This is people's opinion, and that is the way forward for it.
These issues are also high on the agenda as a roundtable discussion where concerned stakeholders in the state's education sector ask the state government to revamp the education system. They also want the state government to consider abolishing all fees, making basic education compulsory, and step up supervision of academic activities in schools.
Teachers over the past 10 years that have retired from service, teachers who died, or teachers who voluntarily withdrew have not been replaced. The result is overcrowded classrooms. Learning outcomes from children are very poor. Today, stakeholders are meeting to review these challenges facing the sector and be able to propose the next steps for reviving the functions of education in Ebonyi State.
It's important that more teachers should be recruited, and then you also improve the infrastructure in the schools that will motivate even the pupils to be in the school, and then provide instructional materials. But I think, and then for government also to ensure that they step up on the issue of supervision.
Of particular concern here is the limited number of teachers and teaching facilities in rural areas.
The infrastructural facilities are not there. Learning material seats, they are not there. You understand? Some of the children are found sitting on under the tree. So I think government really have to put into action by building more structures in schools and providing learning materials to textbooks and the rest of the things that will enhance teaching and learning schools.
They expect the state government to take immediate action to set things right in the state education sector.
Welcome back to Newsroom series. We're now joined on the program by the Commissioner for Education in Ebonyi State, Professor Paul Mwobasi. Thank you for joining us, Prof.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
And I hope I got your name. I got the pronunciation of your name correctly. I hope so.
Correctly pronounced Paul Mwobasi.
Thank you, sir.
That's the correct pronunciation.
Thank you, sir. Flowing from that report, what's the state government doing now? What are the extra efforts to tackle the reported huge deficit of teachers in the state and the out-of-school challenge, which according to a UNESCO report is the highest in the Southeast at 151,000?
The state government, as much as we are doing here, is try as much as possible to check the deficits in our education sector among teachers. It's planning a recruitment in our budgetary provisions. His Excellency, Right Honorable Ebonyi, who has provided very large budgetary provisions for employment of teachers and other necessary educational manpower into the system to make sure that those things are forestalled. So we are trying as much as possible to see a way Ebonyi State can bounce back into its foot from our doldrum, where we now know that we are having problems in our education sector.
Now let's begin to look at the specifics. Last year, there was a school census data conducted in November, which according to the state government would enable government to have knowledge of the gaps in the education sector. What was the outcome of that school census data, if it has been completed?
Yeah, right now we have completed. Those of the public schools are yet just a few schools to get the whole thing completed. But when we're having problems is among the private schools. We're still struggling with them to bring over to the ministry those data collection instruments that we give them. The instrument, most of them were asking that they don't even know how to fill it. So we have to go back to the table to teach them. This is what to do, this is what to do, to be able to get our data. But in fact, in the next 2 weeks or shortly 2 weeks, I'm sure that by that time, if you ask me, I'll be able to give you a true picture of the figures that we have, both even the school dropouts and the other things that are necessary for the instrument of data collection.
Yeah, I asked that question as a precursor to this, which is about the 2024 budget of Ebonyi State, which your governor says will represent the people's charter of needs. Now, what percentage of this 204 billion naira budget will be allocated to primary education?
In short, the total budgetary provisions made for Ebonyi State education is about 22.7% of the total budgetary allocation for education. And looking at it, the basic education, which is primary and senior secondary school, will get a chunk of it. We have problems with our school systems as it regards to our building, our environment, and teacher recruitment and others. So they will take a bigger chunk, about 56 to 60% of that budgetary provision will go for the basic education.
So what areas will you be targeting in this planned revamping of primary education, to be precise? Would it be infrastructure development, the construction of more schools, or would it be human capital development?
Those three areas are key areas. The construction of our schools, then making sure that our teachers are properly trained, and also making sure that the environment is good. Those are the key areas we are going to focus on. And know you that education materials are also important, which will take longer of this because you can't see that do not have that, they do not have educational records for this. That would be the wrongest thing to do. So we are going to make sure that the provisions are adequately made for us to get the data. It will be easier for us to have those things done. And the getting of data will be easy for us to collect with the provisions of those education materials.
These are ambitious plans, Prof, but without a well-motivated workforce in the primary education sector, perhaps the purpose, the objective of education would have been defeated. So what's the basic remuneration that the government is considering for the teaching workforce in Ebonyi State, particularly at the primary level?
I assure you that His Excellency is money. But welfare of our teachers is one of the primary aims of making sure that the education system is back on its feet. Just for Christmas, he said that every worker, every teacher was paid $100 for his Christmas. So everybody is happy. And those people in the primary school were also paid. And he has told them once, not only once, twice that, look, your welfare is my priority. I'm going to make you people happy. And I assure you that he is saying that those people who have left the Ebonyi State school system for another school system will come back. They will look for a place to be re-employed in the Ebonyi State school system. So I do not have fears about that. Anybody who is thinking that the welfare of their teachers in the Ebonyi State is a joke, it is a very good investment for them. There is a very good provision for them. They will smile. By the end of the year, if you call me again, I will assure you that I will tell you, look, what did I tell you?
Okay, I hope you've landed on your point, Professor Nwobasi. I'd like to thank you very much. I was hoping that you will be specific and perhaps speak to whether or not what the governor is considering will be in line with the plans to upgrade the minimum wage, which will also cover the teaching service in Ebonyi State. But don't worry, you said you'll be waiting for us to call you back, so we will call you back, definitely. Thank you very much, Professor Paul Nwobasi, the Commissioner for Education in Ebonyi State. Thank you for your time and contribution on the program. And more stories from the Southeast. Following the full implementation of the Zero Right of Way policy and the implementation of an internet exchange point, Anambra State is now recognized as the leading state in ICT infrastructure development. This recognition comes at the 11th session of the National Council on Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy meeting held in Kano, where the state carted away prestigious awards in 4 categories. Receiving the 4 awards, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the State ICT Agency, Mr. Chukwuemeka Agbata, notes that the awards are a testament to Governor Chukwuma Soludo's commitment to excellence in technological advancement, innovation and progress in the digital realm.
There's a new way of doing things in Anambra State under the leadership of Professor Chukwuma Soludo, where the mantra is everything technology. The goal is being driven through the Anambra Information Communication Technology Agency, which began its work with the launch of the e-government initiative, where all aspects of governance is expected to be digitized.
I'd like to present to you your own working tool, ICT working tool, which, if you like, begins the distribution of these ICT laptops to the rest of the civil servants. Congratulations.
Those in the local government received theirs, with the commissioner affirming that his constituency has become digitized.
For us, data is key. You can't do anything without data. And this is for them to enable them to collect data and to now be digitalized. The local government is being digitalized by way of putting these things together and sending them even to revenue allocation in Abuja, where we get our allocation from. So they now send these things online. They are no longer analog as usual.
Several other trainings and partnerships with top organizations and personnel in the ICT ecosystem, as well as implementation of several ICT policies, follow suit. These efforts have paid off, as Anambra recently emerged Best State in Digital Technology Development, first runner-up in e-government implementation and Digital Human Capital Development at a meeting of the National Council on Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, hosted by Kano State and chaired by the Minister, Dr. Bosun Tijani.
Our goal is very simple. We want to make Anambra a model state in line with the governor's vision, and we believe that if we can do it successfully in Anambra State, hopefully other states can copy, and together we can make Nigeria great.
The state government says it is elate to have achieved this feat in less than 4 years in office, which it says reflects the unwavering commitment to technological advancement and transformative journey which the Soludo administration is championing in the state.
And that's it on the program, this edition covering the Southeast. Join us again, same time next week when we'll bring you another round of edition of the program covering different regions of the country. I am Bukola Koka. Bye for now.